All right, we are live with another Quick Tip Tuesday, each and every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And today is a very important topic for first-time homebuyers, second-time homebuyers, third-time homebuyers, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh-time homebuyers. Today is home inspection. Home inspection is very important process of your purchasing, of your home buying process. So basically, what is a home inspection and what do they do? Home inspection number one is gonna review your house in and out. They're gonna look at the electrical, they're gonna look at the plumbing, they're gonna look at the roof, they're gonna look at the equipment. If you have a boiler, if you have a hot water tank, if you have electrical, gas, if you have a furnace, HVAC system, they're gonna look at what they can see. Keep in mind, they cannot look behind walls. They can only see what's in plain sight. So, for instance, if you go into your home, first-time home buyer, you're not familiar with a lot of things. You might think it's a good home. A home inspector has seen many, many homes over time and their experience in that field. Once they go into a house, they can see maybe if the floor isn't level. They can see if the house is leaning a little bit. They can explain exactly why it's happening. Sometimes over time with these older homes, they can start leaning a little bit. So it's very, very important to get a home inspector. Definitely get someone you trust, you understand with, can communicate with, and also explain things which you understand. Because a lot of these home inspectors may be talking and can't forget they're talking in their terms. So you want someone that can break it down for you, to dumb it down a little bit. Because of course, this can be your first purchase, maybe your second purchase. There's still a lot of things you may not know. So definitely keep that in mind. Do I need a home inspection? I would 100% recommend getting a home inspection. Top reason, this is your biggest investment. You're putting a lot of money to it. You want to know exactly what you're buying. You need a home inspection. Please, for all first-time home buyers, please get your home inspection. You can possibly see multiple homes before you find that dream home. You might fall in love with that home, but don't push that to the side. You can spend some money on the inspection report and it can possibly save you from a headache. You don't know what's going on with the electrical. You don't know what's going on with the plumbing. You don't know what's going on with the deferred maintenance. So definitely 100% recommend going for an inspector. Can my family review ticket item to see if any issues? I would not recommend that. I would recommend getting an expert. A family member can have may have a home for many years, but not each home is the same. There are problems that they had in the past. You may not have it. You might have new problems, or you may have the same problems, but more problems on top of that. So if they're not an expert, if they're not a home inspector per se, then yeah, they can review your ticket items if you like, if you wanted to look at maybe the equipment, the roof. But remember, if you're taking advice, make sure you're taking it from an expert. Someone can give you advice, but don't be so focused on it. Make sure you're double checking, triple checking, doing your own research. Don't take that as the final answer. Make sure you're getting an expert advice. If I get an appraisal, would I need an inspection? Yes, 100%. So the main difference between an appraisal and inspection is an appraisal will only look at your house for, let's say, 10, 15, 20 minutes tops, depending on the size of the house. So they wouldn't dive deep. They will only take a look, take some pictures, look at the room, take a few seconds, and go. Their main focus is to see if the house is worth what you're buying it for. So they're gonna see what the quality of the floors, of the tiles, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. They're looking at the details of the house itself. So they wouldn't actually take a look at your boiler. They wouldn't see if the plumbing is good for the most part. If it's visible, of course, if they see a pipe hanging, of course, they're going to put that in the report. If it needs to be fixed, it would be the bank will request to be fixed. But a home inspector can last maybe 2 to 3 hours in a home. So they're going to dive deep into the house. They have certain equipment that they're going to review throughout the house. They have certain equipment for the outlet to see if it's grounded. They would see if the heating system works, the cooling system works, and appraisal will not. So there's a huge difference between both. The bank will select the appraisal. You would pay for that. And the home inspector, you would pay for that as well. But you would have to find your own home inspector. Does a home inspector check my pool and other items? So depending on your home inspector, some home inspectors offer those services for an extra fee if they know what's going on. But usually they recommend you to get outside inspectors to handle those special items. So you may need, I would probably recommend, if you have a pool, definitely get a pool person to review your pool to make sure everything is good, because a pool can be pricey. So depending on what's going on with the pool, you may have some issues and you don't want to cough up that bill right after you bought the house. So a lot of money can be going to buying the house. You don't want to have a lot of more extra money going to repairing the house. Usually the home inspector can have recommendations for like pool people, or if you have a septic in the house, they can check that. Maybe if you want to see there's an oil tank, underground oil tank, they can, sometimes it's included, or they would recommend someone else to take care of that for you. Let me see any other big ticket items that you may have to possibly maybe for outside jacuzzis, but that's probably including the pool. But I would definitely recommend going outside. How much do they normally charge? An inspector usually goes based off the size of the home, if there's any extra fees included, but it can start anywhere around $500. $450, $400, depending on the size of the home and the inspector itself and how deep. I wouldn't be so focused on the price. I would focus on the quality. Make sure that inspector, you interview them. Make sure they have good reviews. Make sure someone you know possibly used them before. Are they explaining to you things? Are they breaking it down for you? Are they giving you worst case, best case scenarios to the best of their knowledge? So there's a few things. I would definitely choose quality over the price, because this is the biggest investment of your life. Make sure you have a proper team. So definitely, there's a lot of good ones that are on Instagram. That's huge. Those folks are good that I follow. So I actually learn a lot from them. So those are some good ones. You can find one on social media that's good. Just follow them. You can actually learn as you go, because they're posting. They look at a lot of different houses, a lot of different types of house in different areas. So not all areas have the same issues. Certain areas may have a septic. Some areas do not. A lot of homes do not. Maybe have a well water. So there's a lot of different things can go within the house depending on the area. Do you know of any good ones? Yes, I do know a few good inspectors. If you need any, just reach out to me. Also, if you're working with anyone, you can get their recommendations, but of course, you can interview them yourselves as well. Make sure you're connecting with the person. Just anyone in your team. This is a big transaction. It can and it will be stressful. You want to have a good team. You want someone to break it down for you, explain things, and just have your back, because you don't want to feel rushed. You don't want anyone just blowing to a transaction and it's not helpful. So definitely have a good team. Anyone have any other questions? I just want to make sure I cover everything I wanted to discuss. The inspector can look for termite. They might recommend you possibly getting another inspector or more expert in that field, as well as any chimney issues, structural issues. Maybe get an engineer in different sorts. Yeah, of course. Before I wrap up, anyone has any other questions? I would, just to wrap it up, please get an inspector. If you need a recommendation in the New Jersey area, outside New Jersey, I may have some, but I focus in Jersey. Please get your inspection. Please try to understand the inspection. Be there for your first house for the inspection, because that's your time to walk through the property with the inspector and ask all the questions you may have. Good inspectors wouldn't mind. So make sure you're picking the right inspector. Let's see. And don't get too discouraged when you see that report, because some reports will have a lot of pages. So don't get me wrong. It can be a fixer-upper house, someone that just renovated the house. They'll still have a lot of ticket items. It can be small items, but the inspector himself is just going to be fully transparent as possible. So he's going to break it down in the report itself. So I would probably recommend reviewing that report either with your attorney or call the inspector back. But I would definitely recommend being at the house when the inspection happens, for you can actually see this live and ask any questions as you go. And don't be cheap on the inspection. Don't go for the cheapest. Go for someone that will give you quality in anything in life. Go for quality. Don't go the cheap route, because it will bite you in the behind and you may suffer later. So hope everyone learned anything. If you want any topics for next week's Quick Tip Tuesday, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to assist. And have a great rest of your Tuesday.